and welcome to The Well-Educated Artist. Today we're going to be doing an experiment with craft plastic. We are going to be doing a pour on craft plastic. You've probably seen me use this before. I've just put the craft plastic, it's 12 by 12, on a plexiglass square that's also 12 by 12, and I've placed it on my Lazy Susan, even though I may not need my Lazy Susan too much today. We have a pretty soothing palette today with titanium white, light blue violet from Liquitex, a golden pearl green, copper, quinacridone, nickel azo gold, and a turquoise and 24 karat gold. All that I'm going to be using, they're all mixed with Floetrol and water. I'll show you quickly how I mix the paint in a second. I have used this skin as my inspiration. I just made a little quick skin and I'm like, I want to use those colors for this pour today, which is really just an experiment. I am going to quickly mix my titanium white because I need a little bit more, and you can see how I mix it in case you don't know how to mix these kinds of paints. I have just put some titanium white down in the bottom, and now I'm just filling it up with my Floetrol. In this case, you can use any pouring medium, but I'm using Floetrol and adding some water, and then I'm just going to quickly mix this in my cup because I do need this extra white, and then put it into my bottle. And let me just mix this really quickly. You can see the consistency. In case you're not used to doing this, this is going to be fairly thick because I know that in my bottles it's fairly thick. And there we go, just making sure that it comes off of my stick, and we're ready to go. Now, I have never pour painted on this kind of paper. It is a plastic kind of paper. It is craft plastic. I use this all the time, but I don't usually pour on it. I just want to see how it fares, so it's going to be an experiment. And that paint is not flowing a whole heck of a lot. I'm going to add some more paint. This is Viridian. I'm going to put all my paints down, and we're going to see how this flows and holds up. I know there are artists who do use a kind of plastic. I think a high density, I think it's a polystyrene that Maria Brookes used. She does some beautiful art. I'll try to link her down below. This is not what I'm going for today. I just want to see how this is working and how my paints are going to flow on it. I think I need probably a little bit thinner paints. We'll see here, and you can watch and see what happens. Oops, a little bit of a mess there with my golden pearl green. That's a master's touch color. But yeah, plastic is just a whole nother avenue, and we'll see how it flows. This is a nice Liquitex color here, a high flow color actually, in that light blue violet. And put our Deco Art 24 karat gold. We need a little bit of bling bling on that. Sometimes metallics acts a little strange, but we'll see how this works today. I sure like the sparkle. If you like the sparkle of Deco Art, please let me know down below in the comments. I am now putting some bronze on there. I am going to do a swipe, just a simple swipe, to see how a swipe works as well on this paper, and just a little more titanium white. I'm just going to use a plastic bag for my swipe, but any plastic will work. See if we can get some flow in this. I like the color scheme here. Let's just run the plastic, recycle this plastic bag, and just swipe it straight through the paint. Here we go. Metallics are not always the greatest for doing swipes, and there's no silicone or anything in any of these paints. A little bit of selling up, but what we're going to do is just add some WD-40. I've got some WD-40 sitting here, and I'm just going to flick it into my paint. I'm not going to take the time to do any kinds of chameleon cells. I do have some chameleon cell videos out if you'd like to see them, but we're just going to flick it on there and see what happens. I'm just looking at the flow here. We are getting some flow. It's amazing how this paint really sticks to the paper. I think I'd have more flow on a canvas. And I use this paper because it's slick to do some of my artwork that requires that there be a slick surface. And yeah, the paint with the flow medium really is sticking to the paper. Surprisingly, it's not running over the side, which is usually what my paint is doing. It's staying put. So we'll see at the end how much paint I've lost when I go to tilt my picture. Just adding a little bit more of the bronze in there because the paint's not flowing, and which is good in some ways. It depends on how you want to do this. I'm just flicking. I'm just going to flick some of this WD-40. If you've never used WD-40 to create cells before, it does have, I believe it's dimethicone rather than silicone in it, and that's the lubricant that is used. And you're getting some cells. Sometimes this particular paint on the top, which is a bronze, is, because it's a metallic, it's not super reactive in making cells, but we are getting some cells here. Just a fun flick. I'm going to spin it and see how that moves on the spinner. Not a lot. So you'd have to go a lot thinner with the paint if you wanted a lot of movement on this kind of paper, which is good to know. We're going to have to probably add a little bit more paint with this. And I think, oh, look, I can just pick this up. This is great. I can pick it up. You think it would go everywhere, and it doesn't. It actually stays put. I'm going to have to add some more paint. I'm going to add a little bit of gold, which I'm about out of it. But I'm going to add a little bit of the Deco Art Gold, which has the most beautiful sparkling gold, even though, like I said, it can react kind of funny with your other paints. But the sparkle's so pretty, you just have to do it sometimes. And let's see, I am going to add some on this side as well. Try to keep that color in the middle. I'm going to get something a little bit interesting because right now it's sort of boring. But that's okay. The more gold and the more bling, the better. I'm also going to put some white around the edges here. And I'm going to take my skewer and I'm going to put some strategically placed cells using my coconut milk, which is also dimethicone. And it's just a little bit less fluid. And I'm going to dot some between my bronze and my gold and my white. I remember seeing Maria Brookes do this. It's just going to kind of give a drip-like effect. And of course, we're not going to be getting any drips with this paint because this paint is staying put. I didn't know that plastic could have that much grip. I'm just adding a little bit more of the Liquitex Blue Violet, which again, I'm about out of. I'm trying to clear out some of my paints because I'm going to be changing where I am painting. So let's give this a shot on bending it. This is a thing I saw on Maria Brookes' channel, and she bends her plastic. So we're going to give it a shot in bending, and I'm going to put a few more, I think, little cells right along the edge, and then I'm going to be doing some bending of the plastic. And I'm having a feeling this paint is not going to be moving too much, and it's going to be a slow going process. So I will for sure speed that up, but I want you to be able to see how this works. If you've never seen bending plastic with your pour painting, then you're in for a treat because this is going to be a little bit different. And I know I'm just doing my experimentation today, but you got to learn somewhere, and hopefully you can learn something when you're doing your paintings and how not to do things for sure with what I'm doing. So let me go ahead and I'm going to start the bending process. Okay, this is taking quite a bit of patience. I am going around the sides and making sure they are covered. Even though I have a very little bit of surface area, you still kind of have to make sure that the edges are covered just like you would with a canvas. And it's amazing that I have not lost hardly any paint. So I will not be making any skins with this. I'm tempted to see if I can actually peel this off of the paper though. I know you can from a whiteboard. But here's what I have. You can't probably see the metallic, but I will show you the finished. I'm sure you'll be able to see the metallic then. And I'm curious to see whether I have too much paint or not. So let's see the finished product. Okay, here it is, and look at the shine. It is like a really fancy piece of scrapbook paper. That's what it reminds me of. And it is so shiny and sparkly, and it has a really cool texture, and that's probably because of the deco art. Always leaves a really cool texture, the deco art 24 karat gold. It is paper. So you could use this for a number of applications, including mixed media designs. And here is my original inspiration skin, and you can see the colors, even though it does look different. It really does remind me of a skin in application. So I'm going to have to figure out an interesting way to use this. Let me know in the comments below how you would use this particular pour painting application. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye now.